Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing an 8-4 Fate Reforged draft. We got Outpost Siege. All right, last time I did the 8-4, I opened an Outpost Siege and I didn't pick it. Now that I know it's worth like 6+ tickets, I gotta take it. So it pays for at least, it pays for like close to 2/3 of the draft. So definitely taking it. It's a good card too. I never had an issue with the card. Um, yeah, I never had an issue with the card and I still don't. I think it's a good card. Other good cards in here worth looking at. Douse and Gloom, of course, very good removal. I think that would be an easy pick otherwise. Um, yeah, but just because cheap and good removal that gains you life, very good in this format since it kills Morph as well. Otherwise, Mardu Scout, something cheap to do. Um, Sky Captain's fine. It's probably, I don't think it's the first pick here though. I think if Outpost Siege wasn't in here, I'd probably just take the Douse and Gloom. But we'll take an Outpost Siege. Okay. So, follow-up pick. Teamer Sabretooth, quite strong. Haven't even gotten a chance to play with it yet. The rare was taken in this pack. Reach of Shadows, also good. Both, either of the cards I like in this pack. Well, I'm going to take one or the other. It's either Sabretooth or Reach of Shadows. It's more likely the Sabretooth since it's just got a lot of synergies. And I definitely undervalued this card the first time around. I mean, any sort of enter the battlefield ability, it's already good for that. And then it protects you from just all sorts of removal when you have the mana to return stuff. It really is an insane card. So I think we're just going to take the Sabretooth. Reach of Shadows is good, but I was saying both of these cards are allied colors with Outpost Siege. I don't have to play Outpost Siege either. It is nice card advantage that it gives you, since it gives you an extra card each turn that you can play. But yeah, let's take the Sabretooth, I think, pretty easily. Quite strong. All right, get another Siege here. This is an interesting card, too, since it's at the beginning of each of your main phases. So both pre- and post-combat main phase, you add 2 to your mana pool. Or if you have a bunch of flyers, you can make them come in and fight stuff, which is certainly good value. Other notable picks in here, let's see. Hungering Yeti seems like it would be a good one with Sabretooth. You get the flash on it. That's actually kind of interesting, and then you can return it again and flash it out. I don't think they fall for it the second time around. Yeah, I mean, Hunt the Weak's removal seems like a good card with Sabretooth as well. Out of these two cards, I want to say the Sabretooth's probably better than the Siege. It's tough to gauge since they're such different cards. I do think I want either the Siege or the... Well, it's interesting. I think I'm going to go Hunt the Weak just because it's removal. That works well with the creature we already have. But Frontier Siege is... I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. And I don't want to really experiment with it too much in an 8-4. I'd rather go with something that I just have played and like in Hunt the Weak. This is interesting. So I could stay more green and take the Einok Guide. And what that does is basically doesn't force me to play Outpost Siege. It leaves me way open to more clans. Or it can take the Goreswine, which I think is a slightly better card than Einok Guide. I mean, the best. Let's look at the best card in this pack. Is got to be the Orc Sure Shot, because it's efficiently costed the creature that when you play more creatures. Actually, Sure Shot alongside the Sabretooth also seems like some good synergy. I could see taking the Sure Shot here. Maybe, you know what? I think I actually am going to take the Sure Shot. I don't have to play this Outpost Siege either. I do like the idea of Sabretooth with Sure Shot. If black is open, I mean, 4th pick Sure Shot may be a sign. I'm not exactly sure. Here, I think the Sandblast is the best pick. Best card. It's just good removal. Even if white were my splash color, I'd still feel comfortable playing Sandblast. I think it's a good card. Otherwise, there's Goreswine in red still, and there's a Scoured Barrens, which gives some degree of fixing. I definitely want to play this Sabretooth, which means I want to be deep green. So whether I'm green-white, splash black, or green-black, splash white, either way, I'm comfortable taking the Sandblast. being green-black leaves me open to still being green-black-blue as well, Sultai. Okay, so here, Sky Captain is an option. There's an Archers of Karsi and a Return to the Earth, which are fine. And there's a Fierce Invocation in red, but I'm willing to dip out of red at this point. You know, if it's not continuing to flow. Teamer Battle Rage is fine. Maybe the Sky Captain could be a fine pick here as well. The problem with green-white is it leaves me only able to play Abzan if I want to go all three. Or I can do green-white beats, which is probably fine too. I'm just going to take the Sky Captain here because I played it. We have a lot of 4-drops currently. But at this point, I kind of feel like we're dipping out of the Outpost Siege territory. We don't have to. I can still leave that on as an option. I think it's probably a pretty easy Inoc guide here. I already mentioned I'd prefer to be deep. Well, I guess there's also a Word Scale Dragon, which is fine. It is a good finisher. I kind of want to make sure I've got some cheap spells. I know I'm deep green, and Inoc Guide has the luxury of being able to fix for you. I like that it's a bear more than I like the Map de Waste as well. It doesn't actually give you any sort of card advantage since it just puts it on top of your library, but I still like having that option, and Guide has played reasonably well for me, so I'm going to take it there. Okay, this is interesting. I think the Destructor Dragon, I like the Destructor Dragon more than I like the Word Scale Dragon. And the fact that I'm not competing with a 2-drop over it in Inoc Guide makes it slightly more appealing. I actually like the Frontier Mastodon quite a bit too. It already works well with both Orc Sure Shot and Teamer Sabertooth, so maybe I should think about that. I can just do green-white if black doesn't pan out. And green-white beats with Frontier Mastodon might still be fine. I'm going to actually take the Mastodon. I want to keep my curve down. I don't want to have a high curve. I like the dragon spells. My issue with the dragon spells is that they're rather expensive, and I've just found in this format it's much easier to find expensive spells than it is to find cheap spells. Now, that's not to say it's easy to find expensive good spells necessarily, but getting enough early spells is just so important in this format that I'd rather just take the cheap creature that could end up working out well. I'm going to take the Return to the Earth here as a sideboard option. I'd prefer to not main deck it if at all possible. Archers of Karsi once again. I really don't need more 4-drops. I've already got just more than I'm probably going to need in the deck already. In fact, the Sure Shot's looking less and less appealing unless black really starts panning out of these next couple packs. Sage's red. It's just like all sorts of 4-drops. I guess I'm going to take the Efreet just in case the red plan maybe comes back. Another 4-drop. Interesting. Yeah, well, take the Yeti. I mean, it seems like the card with the most ups. Actually, I guess Sipsig Muckdraggers could be an option too. Scout the Borders out of the next couple packs. It is a fine card, not amazing, but I'm gonna take it because I actually like it, and none of those other options seem all that appealing. Like I would still rather be Abzan than say Naya. Naya just really doesn't seem like it's gonna work out all that well for us. Boomkeg seems like it's probably the best card remaining out of this pack, but I think I'm just gonna take the Skirmisher. A Warrior Plan could pan out for us as well. Leash's Vanguard is a black card. Sibsig Host, I guess, makes our Muckdraggers slightly better, but it's just not a very exciting card. I guess it does. Probably just take the Vanguard. Archers of Karsi now, sure. I just want to cut green to the best of my ability. And last pick, Rune Mark, sure. Okay. So certainly an interesting start. I don't think Vanguard is something that I really want in this deck. So we're going to have to look at some other options here. So let's see. I don't want to main deck Return to the Earth, I don't think. I don't really want to do the Vanguard all that much. It's kind of an unexciting card. So I'd still like to be Abzan or green-white, which means this does fix for white and black in the deck, which could be a solid first pick. I already have 9 playables, and it does appear that we're going to need some fixing. There's a Tuskguard Captain, which is quite good. There is a Feat of Resistance, which I like a lot. I think I'm probably just going to go Outpost. Fixes for 2 colors, and like I said, if I'm green-white, the only real clan direction I can go is Abzan. So taking the Outpost here kind of makes sense to me. It also leaves me the option with, if black is more open this pack, I go more green-black / white. Basically, the only information I have right now is that I'm base green, which really means the next few picks are really going to decide what I want my main colors to be. This is really interesting. So I've got Suspension Field, which is very good removal. Ruthless Ripper is certainly a good morph, but it's not going to be an amazing morph if black ends up being more of my splash third color. There's also Kill Shot, but I think I like Suspension Field more. It's more of a proactive removal spell, and there is removal for it, unlike Kill Shot, but Kill Shot is, I think, just not as good as Suspension Field, even though Suspension Field is more narrow in that it can only hit 3 toughness creatures. I think I'm going to take the Suspension Field, passing Scavenger, Archer, Kill Shot, even Rugged Highlands, which could potentially splash for the Outpost Siege. In fact, Nomad Outpost can splash for the Outpost Siege as well. That's something I may actually keep in mind, because we also have the Einok Guide, which could find the red mana. I'm not opposed to splashing for Outpost Siege. I don't think that's completely out of the realm of possibilities. But for now, I'm just going to take the really good removal in Suspension Field. Okay, so options here are interesting. We currently have 7 creatures, which is a decent count, but Skirmisher is currently a little bit unexciting in here. Roar of Challenge is a very strong spell. What I like about Roar of Challenge is in the sort of stalled board state, which doesn't happen as much with the addition of Fate Reforged, but still occasionally does happen, where you get these really grindy matches with a stalled board state. In those situations, Roar of Challenge is pretty amazing in that it basically lets you, do it to your 1/1 Einok Guide, and then all of your other creatures get in. So I really do think there's a lot of upside to Roar of Challenge, and it's certainly early enough where I could get, enough 4-power creatures to really make that Ferocious more active. Otherwise, there's Longshot Squad, but I've already got a few 4-drops. Longshot Squad's more a fine card, but I think Roar of Challenge is going to end up potentially being better for this deck if it pans out for us. Okay, Mardu Horde Chief seems like a fine pickup here, and sort of really start to solidify ourselves into a base green-white deck, which is unusual, but since I already have a couple of black cards, I kind of wanted to go Abzan a little bit anyway. I could take the Chief of the Edge, but like I said, my base colors are green, which really makes the Chief of the Edge more awkward. Horde Chief, however, has synergies with both Temur Sabertooth and Orc Sureshot, which really make it an appealing card in this deck. On top of that, Horde Chief is just really a great card, even if you don't have any synergies with it. So I really think it's probably just the pick here. Over an Awaken the Bear, a Bondkin, a Parapet, and the Chief of the Edge. I'm fine with just slamming the Horde Chief here and really starting to go heavier white-green splash black. Okay, Highland Game is just a 2-drop. I like it. I never had a problem with Highland Game. The only other option that I see is Warbeamoth, which is also a fine and playable card, but I think I like having a lot of 2-drops available at my disposal. It really helps a lot. We do have the Abzan Rune Mark as well, which I should keep in mind since I don't know, I could play it in here. I'm not opposed to it. If we end up green-white beats and dump the black splash, I'm really going to like Abzan Rune Mark, I think, with all the green creatures. So keep that option available. Scoured Barrens is probably just a pick over anything here. I mean, Scout the Borders seems fine, but yeah, I'm really not giving up anything. I guess Smite the Monstrous is a fine removal spell, but I'd rather have the Scoured Barrens. Just get another piece of fixing for our potential splash color in black. Like if we see any sort of Abzan card, think if we see Abzan Charm, Armament Core, Abzan Guide, having those available to us, I think is really going to help a lot. But let's take the Scoured Barrens pretty easily. Rite of the Serpent, not so good on the splash. Witness of the Ages isn't anything super incredible, but it does give us Ferocious for Roar of Challenge and Frontier Mastodon, so I'm not opposed to it. It also seems like it's a reasonable card with Hunt the Weak, so okay, let's take Witness. Interesting. I think we probably just slam the Teamer Charger here. A fine card in general, and yeah, I like that you can play it as a 2 or a 3 drop. Just another card that really helps us move maybe more into a green-white beats deck if that ultimately is the direction we're going to go. I'm just not sure yet. Okay, Rush of Battle is a pretty powerful card. It does work well with Horde Chief. It works well with Skirmisher. It works well with... I guess that's all the warriors we currently have, but otherwise I'm taking an Archer, which is a fine card but not super amazing. And if I end up green-white beats, I really want to make sure I have a Rush of Battle. There's also a tabled Villainous Wealth, which is intimidating to say the least, but I'm not going to hate it over a card that I could potentially play. Scavenger is quite good. I think we probably take it. A little bit of anti-synergy with Sib-Sig Mugdraggers, and taking it over an Archer may make a green-white beats deck less of an option, but I still like the idea of potentially opening some Abzan cards out of pack 3 that are going to be beneficial for us. We didn't really see any Abzan cards at all this pack, which is, you know, a bit of a concern, but I think ultimately it's going to be okay. Okay, Scout the Borders gets a lot better in both a 3-color deck and a deck that has expensive delve cards. So I'm debating taking it. I mean, otherwise it's a Hateblade or a Defiant Strike, both of which are fine, but Hateblade in a green-white beats deck is going to be bad, and I think we probably just take the Scout the Borders. I like the idea of I don't know. I've had more success with Scout the Borders than probably most people have. I think here I'm just going to hate a Disdainful Stroke because I don't really want to play against it. Okay, take the creature, I guess. Embodiment, sure. Okay, so pretty good pack 2. No Abzan cards, like I said, which is, you know, a bit of a concern, but we did pick up a good removal in Suspension Field, and potentially this could pan out well for us in pack 3 here. Okay, I probably just take the Pine Walker. It's a very solid card in general. I like it. Works well with other morphs, but it also triggers your Ferocious. I, of course, don't like passing Creator's Claws, and it's usually a card I'd consider splashing, especially since I already have the Outpost, but I really like Pine Walker a lot, and I'm going to take it over the Charger, I think, too, even though Charger would probably be better for a green-white beats deck, but I think at this point I'm still very much willing to be Abzan. I'm really hoping to see some Abzan cards out of pack 3 here, but we'll have to see if that pans out. Here we go. Immediately rewarded. So there's Armament Core and there's Debilitating Injury, which is interesting. Injury and Feat of Resistance and Scoured Barrens and Watch of the Roost and Become Immense. It's one of those unfortunate things where it's like all the cards we want are in one pack. I've got my heart set on this Armament Core. I like Debilitating Injury, and I think it's good on the splash, though. So I'm not exactly sure on that one. Yeah, that's a bit difficult for me. Armament Core is a very strong card. It's really a high impact card, and I really kind of want to take it here, even though I'm taking it over removal. Currently, our removal is Suspension Field, Sandblast, Hunt the Weak, which is nothing to scoff at. I think that's fine. Yeah, it's tough. I think I'm going to go Armament Core. We're getting cut too much on the Abzan cards for me to hope to table it, and I love Armament Core. I think it's a really strong card. All right, I think Alpine Grizzly actually seems quite good here, since it allows us to just take a cheap creature that triggers Ferocious, works well with the Mastodon and the Roar of Challenge. And otherwise, I'm taking a Take Up Arms, which is fine, or a Bitter Revelation, which is also fine. And actually quite good with our Delve cards, better than the Scout the Borders. But I don't know how I feel about that one on the splash. I feel better about Armament Core on the splash because it's a bit more expensive. So you get more time in a game to find your black mana. But yeah, let's just slam a Alpine Grizzly here. I like it quite a bit. I think we're gonna cut the Skirmisher more than likely. I just probably don't need it. Here, Highland Game versus Long Shot Squad. We're pretty good on the 4 drops. I think I'm just gonna take Highland Game, give us even more early plays to do, and just a good way to buy time. Otherwise, Mardu Hateblade and Bitter Revelation. Revelation is actually fine in this deck for the 2 Delve cards, but I think I'd rather get the Highland Game, just get a really good creature count going, and see how that works. Okay, so now there's, interesting, War Behemoth, Dazzling Ramparts. There is a Windscarred Crag, which would give us 2 pieces of red fixing for Outpost Siege, but just really not sure that's necessary. I'd much rather see a piece of black fixing. It just really looks like we're going to have enough good playables where I don't need to splash for the Outpost Siege. Take Up Arms is pretty good. I guess it's good synergy with Orc Sure Shot, which is what I should have considered maybe for the last one that I took the... It actually works with... It's pretty good with Rush of Battle too, especially since it's Warriors. Yeah, I think it's just a pretty easy Take Up Arms here. Currently, I'm still comfortable. Ooh, Raider Spoils is a pretty appealing pick. Let's do a quick Warrior count. Keep in mind also, you don't have to have Warriors to get the bonus. Very important to keep in mind. Warriors we currently are rocking are Horde Chief, Take Up Arms, and Scavenger, and the Skirmisher that I put in sideboard. That's really not that much, but what are we passing up for it? A Bloodfell Cave's another way to splash for Outpost Siege, but I really don't have to. I probably just take Raider Spoils. I really think that's a great card regardless of whether you have a lot of Warriors or not. Just buffing your whole team is quite good, and it really throws an extra I don't know. It really adds a lot of extra power to the deck that I think originally was underappreciated, but nowadays people are definitely coming to like the card quite a bit more. Merrick Nightblade's got good synergies in this deck. It's difficult for me because I've already got so many 4 drops. But yeah, I really like how it's going to play with Armament Core. Hunt the Weak especially is good. Raiders, not Raider Spoils, but Hunt the Weak, Armament Core, Abzan Sky Captain. Anything that's giving, +1/+1 counters, it's going to make it quite good. Otherwise, there's a Bondkin, which is also fine, but I guess I take the Nightblade. Retribution of the Ancients. I've yet to play it. I still don't have a ton of ways to get tokens. Probably not enough where I want to justify bringing that in. I don't have a naturalized sideboard effect yet, so I think I'm going to take that over the Behemoth. Even though Behemoth is an option, I think I'm a bit more interested in just taking naturalized for sideboard. I've just got enough playables already, so it just makes sense. Lamasu, good finisher and all, but that's okay. Here, Defiant Strike, maybe. I guess it's on color. I don't think I'm playing it, but if I wanted to play, a 2-color deck, I guess I'll leave that option there. Krumar's a Warrior, but I've already got too many 4 drops as is. So I think I'd rather play the Raider Spoils over the Rush of Battle. I don't know if that's correct either. Especially since black is still technically our splash color. But let's take the Scout the Borders here, number 2. Maybe I just hate something instead. Like, I guess Whirlwind Adept could be annoying. I don't know. I've got enough playables, so I'm okay with hating stuff. Canyon Lurkers could be a good beatdown card. Molting Snakeskin is fine. I'm just not going to play it. I guess I'll just hate the Lurkers. Hateblade seems like a good card to have. I'm not sure if we're going to play it. It's nice to have a lot of cheap spells, though, so could be an option. It is a Warrior for our Raider Spoils. That could be an option, too. So Rakshasa Secret. Seems like it's actually fine in this deck with our 2 Delve spells, but I don't know if I'm going to do it. I mean, there is a decent chance that I could just build a green-white beats deck, even though I built towards the black, but I think I am going to play the black. There's enough upside with the black spells that I have where I probably just want to play them. So let's group stuff separate for now. We do have a very good creature count. I probably don't need the Witness of the Ages. I think our creature quality is probably better than that. This is also a creature. This is a morph. These are 4-drops. Okay. All right. So removal is currently Suspension Field, Sandblast, Hunt the Weak, which isn't bad, and Sure Shot to a certain extent is some removal. Let's cut the Witness. It just feels like an easy cut because it's kind of an underwhelming creature. Okay. Well, I guess this is a 17 land deck. How comfortable do I feel playing 17 lands in this deck? I feel actually pretty comfortable. Even if you move our morph to their proper slots, we have a relatively low curve. I guess Muck Draggers is pretty expensive. I like what it does. There is an Abzan Rune Mark, which is actually pretty playable in here too. Most of my, like almost all of my early creatures especially are green. So just casting this and getting like a 4/3 Vigilance is pretty good. Getting a, 5/3 Vigilance, also quite good. But having the 3 Toughness is actually turning me off to it a little bit. We only got a couple pieces of fixing, but we also have the Einok Guide, which I think is going to be immensely helpful in this deck. And we're actually not super color intensive. Armament Core is color intensive. Pinewalker really isn't because of the morph. Sabertooth is color intensive, so we only have like 2 actual color intensive spells in here. We have 16 creatures with the Take-Up Arms. I definitely like Take-Up Arms with Raider Spoils and Sure Shot. I think that's some great synergy that shouldn't be overlooked. I like the Rush of Battle with Take-Up Arms as well and Horde Chief. So I like that quite a bit. We don't have a ton of 4-power guys for Mastodon. What do we've got? Sabertooth, Sure Shot, Pinewalker, Grizzly, Armament Core. It's not bad. I think Mastodon's still fine as a 3-mana 3/2. Is Muck Draggers good enough for this deck? I think that's a question. We are running the Scout the Borders, so my instinct says yes. I'm debating whether I want to maybe cut Muck Draggers and Scout the Borders, and that leaves me open to playing Witness of the Ages and maybe like, I don't even know, like Secret or something, which doesn't seem that good. I think I'm actually fine with Scout the Borders for the Muck Draggers and the Scavenger. I think that's fine to me. I don't have any issues with that really. And Scout the Borders is another way to find our black mana as well as the Einok Guide. So I kind of like it actually. Overall, I think this deck's fine. It's not. We really wanted some more bomby finishers. I think that's ultimately the weakness of this deck. But we do have enough finishers to succeed. No Abzan Guides is kind of disappointing. No Abzan Charms, conversely, or more like similarly, also disappointing. But I think the deck curve looks good, and our mana base isn't so atrocious where I'm overly worried about it. This would be 5 black, 7 white, 7 green. Ooh. I don't know about that. I think I need 8. That's interesting. May have to get away with 6 white. Well, I guess the okay thing about that is I don't need to play white super early. The earliest spell I need to play is like Horde Chief. Even Suspension Field comes later. Yeah, that's a bit worrisome. That's a bit worrisome, but I think I'm going to have to be okay with this mana base. So I think the true weakness of this deck is the mana base and a lack of bomby finishers. God, that is a lot of 4-drops. But I think that's okay. There might be a reasonable argument to play 18 lands just because of the sheer quantity of 4-drops. What was I on the fence about playing anyway? Muck Draggers. Could maybe cut Muck Draggers. I don't like cutting expensive spells to add another land. I like cutting cheap spells to add another land, but I don't really see any cheap spells I'd like to cut. Very interesting. I guess Einok Guide, since it puts a land on top, doesn't really function as an 18th land, though. That's tough. I think there's enough. How many spells do I've got 11 spells I can play that are 3 and cheaper. It's not bad. I almost want to cut Rush of Battle, but it is like a overrun style effect, and we probably have enough creatures to support it. I guess really it's 12 spells that are 3 and cheaper. That's tough, man. I mean, if I don't get to 4th mana, or my 4th mana, that's definitely going to pose an issue. Yeah, I don't know. That's challenging. I could cut. What's the weakest 4-drop I have? I feel like it's either the Rush of Battle or the Abzan Sky Captain. Maybe Nightblade on the splash isn't as good as I think. It is good with Hunt the Weak and Armament Core. And I guess Frontier Mastodon if it gets the counter. But like, not much beyond that. And Sky Captain, I guess. I feel like I have too many 4-drops. So maybe cut the Nightblade for like a Witness. Slightly lowers my curve. Or cut the, well, Hateblade seems awkward. Just because I've only got 6 sources of white. I think I'm going to cut Nightblade for Witness of the Ages. This does a couple things. I actually like Nightblade more than Witness, but running the Witness gives me another way to trigger Ferocious, which isn't like key to this deck succeeding, but it also lowers the curve of my deck by giving me a morph, and it also lowers the black spell count in my deck, which is actually kind of important because I just didn't end up with much black fixing. So 5 black sources for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spells that are all in the late game makes me feel a lot more comfortable than 6 black spells. And having another 3-drop as opposed to another 4-drop also makes me feel less clunky. It also is more synergy with my Frontier Mastodon and Roar of Challenge. So I think I'm cutting a better card for a worse card that works better for our deck. So I hope that makes sense to you. I'm pretty comfortable with this deck overall. I would like to find a way to make the Nightblade work, but I think our mana is just in the state where I'd rather run it like this. Focus on the green, make sure we have enough white and black to make those cards function, but we'll see how this deck pans out. I think this is a deck that could I think the true weakness of this deck is going to be the mana base. I think that could very easily fall apart on us, but other than that, this deck is fine. I'd probably rate it about it's probably like 6 out of 10. Just not quite enough finishers to make me super excited about it. Not enough Abzan cards to make me super excited about that, but the card quality in general is there, and we have enough removal where I think it could function okay. So we'll see how this plays for us, and we'll see you round 1.